welcome back to Forbes Games. I am Erik Kain. Today I am going to be reviewing Call of Duty Vanguard, the latest Call of Duty in a long-running, best-selling franchise from Activision. This game was developed primarily by Sledgehammer Games, but there was help from numerous different studios. If you watch the credits after the campaign, there are thousands of names and dozens of different organizations that helped bring this all together. So this is, one of the most expensive games of the year in terms of budget, and it's going to almost certainly be one of the best-selling games of the year. Call of Duty almost always is. So how is it? I think it's great, honestly. Like overall, I would say this is a great game. I think the last 4 Call of Duty entries have been really solid. Starting with Call of Duty World War II, which was also made by Sledgehammer Games, and had one of my favorite modes, War Mode, which sadly is not present in this game. Maybe down the road they'll release War Mode as one of the seasonal releases, but unfortunately it's not here. But Call of Duty World War II was quite good. I sunk a lot of hours into that and had a great time. It had a decent campaign. Call of Duty Modern Warfare, the sort of rebooted Modern Warfare in 2019, I also very much enjoyed. It felt like not just an overhaul to the Call of Duty experience, but to the whole revenue model where map packs were gone and we had a battle pass and free maps and free weapons released seasonally. That was released, and then shortly after Warzone was released, and those two games play very similarly, and that's going to be important when we talk about Vanguard. Last year, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War came out. A lot of people were pretty skeptical of it. I was skeptical at first, but then it quickly became one of my favorite Call of Duties that I've ever played. I played through all the seasons, maxed out my battle pass almost every time, except for one time where I almost did and then I forgot to. And, I've ranked up my prestige level and all that and just played a ton of Black Ops Cold War. Now, Vanguard sort of feels like a little bit of a mixture of all 3 of those games. It's a World War II game, so it has that historical, World War II feel that you had in Call of Duty World War II. It's a very different game in a lot of ways, but it has that same, historical arsenal and everything. It's built on the engine that was used for Modern Warfare in 2019. But it plays more like Black Ops Cold War, especially in multiplayer. It does have some of the same trappings and the same mechanics as Modern Warfare, like there's the double sprint and you can open doors, you can mount your gun. But the movement and the guns themselves, the recoil and all of that really plays more like Black Ops Cold War, which has a more arcadey feel to it. It's a little less grounded and realistic. There's less recoil, there's less weighted, clunky movement. You get a lot more of that in Modern Warfare. It's much smoother and faster, like Black Ops Cold War, which I'm actually really happy about. At first, the transition from Modern Warfare to Black Ops Cold War threw me off. It threw me for a loop, and I didn't really like it. It felt a little too weightless. But with some improvements and just with more experience with the game, I really grew to like that style, where you're almost just sort of floating, gliding through levels. It feels like the guns are snappier and a little bit more wieldy. Is that a word? Not unwieldy, wieldy. And Vanguard plays very similar. The guns feel similar. There's not as much recoil as in Modern Warfare. More recoil in like LMGs and whatnot. But assault rifles and SMGs handle quite smoothly. So you get this historical, theme, and historically soldiers and guns, but then it plays very much like Black Ops Cold War. So you're either going to love that or hate it. I feel like a lot of people didn't give that game enough of a chance. I also feel like there's sort of there's a Modern Warfare community within the larger Call of Duty community, and then there's a Black Ops Cold War community, and then there's the zombies community, and we'll get to zombies in a second. One thing I really love about Vanguard is just the number of maps. There's so many maps. There's 16 multiplayer maps at launch. There's a new pacing system, which means that if you turn all the different pacings and all the different maps on and all the different modes on, you can be playing in 16 different maps with different configurations like 6v6, 7v7, 8v8, 10v10, 12v12, all the way up to 28v28, although you don't see those big numbers as often. So you can have, a big map with lots of players on it, or a smaller map with lots of players on it, but generally speaking, the maps, the pacing sort of fits to the map. So those bigger maps you're going to see larger teams on, smaller maps you'll usually see smaller to middle-sized teams on. And it keeps things interesting. So you might be playing Domination 12v12 one time, you might be playing 6v6 Hardpoint the next time. It's very different, and I like it. I like it more than the last 2 games, how they've done big team modes on big team maps. In this game, it's much more fluid. There's a lot of shade. It's not just the 6v6 maps and then the big team maps. It's all the maps, all the same rotation. So you just feel like you have a ton of variety. And some of the maps that I played like in the alpha and beta, I've barely even seen in the game because there's just so many that they're just not hitting the rotation that I'm in. So I love the variety of it. I love how it plays. I love how fast it is. I feel really good at it because I guess I got so used to Cold War over the last year that coming into Vanguard, I'm oftentimes getting, dozens of kills, top of the leaderboard, and that feels nice. So that definitely colors my opinion of the game. There's a new multiplayer system where you can vote for MVP. So it'll show like either the final kill or the best play, and then you can vote for your team MVP. Each team gets a vote. And it's based on all kinds of things: multi-kills, captures, high score, time spent around enemies, time spent around allies. So there's lots of ways you can reward like the player you think did the best, even if that's your own self. There's also Champion Hill mode in multiplayer, which is a 2v2 or 3v3 tournament mode. 8 teams drop in. They have a certain amount of lives. Once all your lives are out, you're eliminated, and the last team standing wins. This is super fun. I really like playing it with my brother because he's really good, and I'm pretty good at it. So we've been winning most of our Champion Hill matches, which is, again, really fun. It's fun to win, right? Winning makes things more engaging and more entertaining. But it's one of those things where you have a chance, even if you're doing poorly, you always have a chance to come back. We were down to 1 life up against a team with 8 lives, and we were the last 2 teams. And in one match, we took 7 of their lives, and they took 0 of ours, bringing us to an even 1v1. And we won the next match after that. I think we had them so rattled. I think they were overconfident going in and then rattled going into the second round. That was pretty cool. Champion Hill's fun. I'm excited for them to bring gunfight back because that puts you on an even playing field. You don't have money to buy, different weapons with. In Champion Hill, you can buy perks, you can buy weapons, you can buy different kinds of grenades, you can buy armor, you can buy, kill streaks like Spy Plane, which is super useful, by the way. But it's still a great mode, and I think in Season 1, hopefully Season 1 we get gunfight. Well, definitely I think we're getting the League mode, the competitive mode, which I really love in Black Ops Cold War. So when you're thinking about this game, there's all the stuff at launch, 20 total maps if you include Champion Hill, but then there's also going to be Shipment coming out in a couple weeks, less than a couple weeks now, and then all the Season 1 content, but new maps, modes, a battle pass, and all that. So, and then there'll be multiple seasons, probably around 6, throughout the next year. So there's a lot more content coming to this game, but there's an awful lot of content already in it. The campaign, I've seen a lot of negative takes on the campaign. I haven't read them really, but I've seen like a lot of headlines saying, "Oh, the campaign is the worst in years" or whatever. And I disagree. It's the worst in years. I would put it about on the same level as Call of Duty World War II. I think Modern Warfare had a really solid campaign in 2019. I think Black Ops Cold War was the most interesting campaign in the last few years because it had like mysteries to solve and puzzles and bonus missions that you could get into once you solved the puzzles. And there was just this whole like weird, trippy Black Ops ending that got really funky. And this is a more straightforward, like, we are the noble good guys fighting the evil Nazis. And there's sort of a lot of caricatures, but it's also, it's a super diverse cast. You play as several different like specialists, and they're different racial backgrounds. You play as a female sniper. And it's gorgeous. I mean, the production values just keep getting better every year, obviously, and it's really just a stunning looking campaign. The faces are some of the best, facial animations, some of the best I've ever seen, and it's fun. It's nothing to write home about. I don't know if I'd play it again, but it's fine. I mean, I honestly, if you really judged a Call of Duty by its campaign, you would be missing the core of the experience, which is always multiplayer. And so I won't go super into the campaign. I played all the way through it. The only mission I hated was a plane mission, a flying mission with dogfighting, which I thought handled terribly, but I'm also not very good at dogfighting in games. It's just not my forte, so maybe that's just me. Some of the missions I liked more than others, and none of them really stood out to me as like something really truly remarkable, but I don't feel like Call of Duty has done really any super great or interesting campaigns since like Modern Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, Black Ops 2. But I think also we might view those older games with slightly rosy tinted glasses and be more critical now that we've had so many Call of Duties. Zombies mode is the third sort of pillar of this, and there's the Der Anfang. I don't know how to say it. I played this for a bit. Zombies is not my favorite, but this I enjoy this. It was pretty fun but pretty repetitive. I liked it more than some Zombies experiences. There's really, you're in a sort of hub area where you can upgrade things. You can get perks and you can upgrade your guns and in this sort of central area you fight off some zombies and then you kind of like do all that housekeeping stuff, and then you enter these portals to different game modes. Like you have to harvest runes and put them into a dealio and then fight off hordes of guys, and then or you have to like move an object through a level. As you play, the longer you play, the harder bad guys get. You upgrade your weapons, but they get harder and harder, and pretty soon you're just in a crazy throng of really hard zombies, and you have to exfil. You have to choose when you exfil. Like I said, you're sort of playing the same thing over again. The loop is pretty basic and gets a little repetitive, and I don't know, I've never really gotten into like all the sort of secrets and Easter eggs and zombie lore stuff. That just hasn't been my thing, and I haven't really had friends who've been into that, so I've never really gotten into that community. From what I can tell, it's not a lot, so hopefully post-launch, Season 1, Season 2, there'll be more experiences added to zombies, and that will flesh out that aspect of the game. But for me, it's fine, because there's so much multiplayer content, and that's what I'm here for. More than the campaign, more than zombies, I'm here for the multiplayer. I'm also excited about Warzone, but the new Pacific-themed map that's linked to Vanguard is not coming out until December when Season 1 launches. So there's nothing to say about that. All told, I'm just very happy with the game. I'm having a blast with it. I've had some connection issues, but I'm chalking those up to launch. My problems have been connectivity between different platforms. So PC and PC is fine, but I'm playing PC and I'm trying to play with friends who are on PlayStation or Xbox. I've been having some connectivity issues. I don't know if that's something people are experiencing frequently or that's just me or what, but it's launch week, so we have to be a little patient and forgiving. So all told, I recommend this game. If you like the multiplayer, especially if you liked Black Ops Cold War, this will be a fun game for you to play, and I highly recommend it. So, yeah, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and check out my written piece, my written review on Forbes. Peace.